Hi students, welcome to Tirumala Vizag. Yes, some of you have completed your 10th class exams and some of you are still waiting to write 10th class exams. Of course, anyhow, because we do not know actual time, actual date when these 10th class exams will happen, we are going to start our intermediate classes. But of course, we are not going to start actual intermediate syllabus right now. First, we will see what are the prerequisite concepts and topics which are required to start intermediate topics. First, let us know what are the topics which are there in intermediate mathematics, that is first year mathematics. Total first year mathematics is divided into two parts, 1A and 1B. Let us see briefly what are the topics which are there in 1A and 1B. First part is 1A and second part is 1B. In 1A, algebra will be there, vector algebra will be there, and trigonometry will be there. These, algebra means other topics are included, functions, mathematical induction and matrices are there, and vector algebra means addition of vectors, product of vectors will be there, and trigonometry, many subtopics are included in this trigonometry. These are the topics in 1A. And 1B, 2D coordinate geometry, and 3D coordinate system, and next differential calculus. In this 2D coordinate system, 2D coordinate geometry, straight lines and a pair of straight lines will be there, and 3D coordinate system, just introduction about 3D and a very basics of lines, 3D lines and planes will be there, and differential calculus, one of the very important chapter. In this limits, continuity, differentiability, differentiation and application of derivatives will be there. So, 1A consists of algebra, vector algebra and trigonometry. 1B consists of coordinate geometry, 2D system and 3D coordinate system, and complete calculus part. Of course, only differential calculus will be there. Of course, integral calculus will be there in the second year. These are the chapters which are there in first year. They have divided into 1A and 1B. 1A consists of these three and 1B consists of these three topics. Today we are not actually starting with intermediate syllabus. We are starting with some basic concepts, basic topics we will see first. Today we will be looking at sets, very basic definitions and some properties of that we will see, and very slowly we will be going. You must maintain a notes and you must write that notes while watching a video. If you don't write notes, I don't think this video will be effective, because you watch the video one time or two times, and if you don't maintain the notes, after some time if you want to revise it again, you need to watch the video, means it is difficult for you. Therefore, maintain a notes. Whatever the important points you feel, that you write in the notes, and after that you refer to that notes, go through the concepts, and whatever the sheets, assignments we are giving, you try to do all the problems from that. And if you write these notes and go through all the points before attempting that sheet, then definitely it will become easy for you and easily you can solve that sheet, I am sure that. Okay, we will start. What is a set? Set is a well defined collection of objects. A set is a well defined collection of objects. What is this well defined, we will see later. And here objects are there, no. These objects are called elements or members of the set. Usually these sets are denoted by capital letters, capital A, comma, capital B, comma, capital C, and so on, capital X, comma, capital Y, comma, capital Z. And objects or elements or members of the set are usually denoted by small a, comma, small b, comma, small c, etc. These are the members of those sets, and sets are usually denoted by capital letters, and members or elements of the set are denoted by small letters. If set is described by some members or some elements, then we will put these members or elements within curly braces to represent a set. Suppose if A is an element of a set, and if it is only the member of that set, then I will write it as, if because it is an element, you keep this element in curly braces, and if I take it is equal to A, now we can say it is a set A which contains only one element A, and it is a member, and it is kept in within curly braces, and notation for this is capital letters. We will take capital A equal to this. Suppose members of the set are, if I take A comma B, now you separate these members by commas, and now keep these letters within curly braces, and you take some notation for this. We can say it is set B whose elements or members are A comma B. Now suppose if I take three members are there, A comma B comma C, as usual. Now separate these members or elements of that set by commas and keep them in curly braces, and notation you take some C means. Now I can say it is a set C and whose members or objects or elements are A comma B comma C. It is the representation of the set. And one thing you remember, order of these members or elements of a set is immaterial. That is, this can also be written as B comma A comma C, or this can also be written as C comma A comma B. You observe, here I can say it is a set whose elements are A comma B comma C, and here it is a set we can say whose elements are A comma B comma C. Here also I can say A comma B comma C only. So order of elements in a set is immaterial. You can write in any order. Now we will come to the word well defined. What is the meaning here? Suppose if I take any element, for some element x, and you take any set for any set capital A. Now if we are able to claim whether this x is an element of that set A or it is not an element of A, but not both, then we can say that set A is well defined. Suppose if I take my set A is equal to odd natural numbers less than 10 if I write. Odd natural numbers less than 10 means yes, I can write 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Now, if I take any number, suppose if I take 5, yes, because 5 is an element which is an odd natural number and less than 10, I can say it is an element of A. I can claim that it is an element of A. If I take 4, yes, I know it is a natural number but not an odd natural number, therefore we can say it is not an element of this set A. That is why well defined means any element if you take, we can claim whether it belongs, that is it is an element of that set or not, then we can say that is well defined. For example, one more if I take set B is equal to some natural numbers if I take. If I take B equal to some natural numbers, the word you see here some natural numbers I have taken. Suppose if I take natural number 3, I am not sure under this condition whether this 3 is an element of this set B or not, because they have not described clearly about the property of those elements. Some natural numbers means may be there or may not be there. Even I can say some natural numbers means yes, 1, 2, 5. These are some natural numbers only. But now 3 is not there, therefore we cannot say some natural numbers means either these are or I mean it is not well defined. And one more example, if I take set C is equal to all good students of a class. If I take all good students of a class, here also the word is there, no good students, it is not well defined. Now if you take any class, if I ask all good students of that class means because it is not well defined, we cannot select the students, because good students is a relative word. For one person, some person may be good, and for other person, same person may not be good. Therefore, we cannot definitely say a particular student is a member of this set or not. Therefore, I can say it is not well defined. If you describe the set in this way, it is not well defined. Therefore, we cannot construct a set. Whereas, if you define a set like this, all natural numbers, yet it is a well defined. Anyone, if you want to write that set A, for everyone it will be the same set only. Therefore, I can say it is well defined, therefore it is a set. Therefore, finally, a set means it is a well defined collection of objects, and usually those objects are nothing but elements or members of that set, and usually these sets are denoted by capital letters and elements or members of the set are denoted by small letters. And if you describe the elements of the set, and if more than one element is there means you separate them by commas and you keep those elements within curly braces to represent a set. These are the sets and these are the examples. Hope you understood the definition of the set. Now we will move to further points in these sets. If I take set A equal to A comma B comma C, now we can say all these are the elements of A. That is, I will write A belongs to this set A. A belongs to A can also be written as with a symbol A belongs to capital A. This symbol is there, no, we will read it as A belongs to A. A belongs to A means A is an element of this set capital A. Because B is an element of A, I will write B belongs to A. C is an element of A, I will write C belongs to capital A. Suppose if I take a D, it is not an element of this set A, therefore I can write D does not belong to set A. This notation I can write with a symbol D does not belong to capital A. If it is not an element means we can write D does not belong to A. It is not an element of this set, and A belongs to A means it is an element of this set A we can write. So, whenever in general, suppose capital X is an any set if I take, X is an any element if I take, if it is an element of this one means I will write X belong to capital X, and if it is not an element of capital X means I will write X does not belong to capital X. So, this is the notation, please make a note of this. It is a symbol belongs to and it is does not belong to. Whenever it is a member of this one means I will write X belong to capital X, and whenever it is not a member of this set means we can write X does not belong to this capital X. Actually, there are two ways to represent a set. In that, one is roster form or tabular form, and second one is set builder form. In this roster form, what is the meaning of this one means, whatever the elements or members are there in this set, we will list all those elements and we will separate them by commas, then that form is called roster form. Suppose a set capital A is there, in this it contains all natural numbers less than 10 if I take. In roster form means how I will write, it is equal to, I need to list all the numbers separated by commas, therefore 1 comma 2 comma 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that's all. Therefore roster form means all the elements of that set must be listed and separated by commas and keep it in curly braces, then it is the representation of that set in roster form or tabular form. Next, set builder form. In this form, set builder form, what we will do? We will take a variable X, whatever the variable, it may be X or A, whatever it is, which describes all the elements of that set should be written. Suppose my set A is equal to, it is set X. After this, either you keep semicolon or you keep an oblique line, and now you have to write or assign the property of those elements for this variable X. Suppose in this way only if I write, if my set is all natural numbers less than 10, then I will write X such that X belong to capital N and X less than 10 I will write. Here means it is X belong to capital N and X less than 10 I will write. What is the meaning here is, I am assigning that property of the set for a variable X, means A equal to set of that variable X. What is the property of all these elements where X is a natural number and it must be less than 10. The moment if you want to list out all these elements as it should be a natural number and it is less than 10, then you can write all these elements 1, 2, 3 and so on till 9. Therefore, you see any set can be represented, I mean in general sets can be represented in two ways. One is roster form or tabular form, and second one is set builder form. What is a roster form? In roster form, all the elements of that set must be listed and separated by commas and keep them in curly braces. It is the roster form. Whereas set builder form means we will take a variable and we will, to describe all the elements of that set, and we will assign the property of that set to that variable to describe this set, and it is called set builder form. In general, you see, suppose many elements are there which satisfy some property, means if you want to write them in roster form, it will be tedious process. Whereas if you want to describe by set builder form, means it is very easy. You observe here, if you want to take, set A all natural numbers less than 10. This set I have written in roster form as well as set builder form. Observe, roster form means all the elements I have to write, whereas set builder form means just I will take one variable, and it is such that what is that x, that property I am assigning, x property or properties. X is a natural number and x less than 10. Now we will see what is a finite set and what is infinite set. Simple definitions only. Finite set means a set which has finite number of elements. Infinite set means a set A which is not finite is called infinite. See, finite set, a set having finite number of elements is called finite set. For example, if I take capital A is equal to set of 1, 2, 3. Yes, now we can say it is a finite set that has only 3 elements. It is a finite set having how many elements? 3 elements are there. Next, infinite set means a set which is not finite is called an infinite set. Suppose if I take n equal to set of all natural numbers, set of all natural numbers if you take, yes, we know it contains infinitely many number of elements, therefore we can say n is an infinite set. Similarly, if you take set of all integers, you know notation either I or z, yes, it is an infinite set, set of all integers. Set of all integers is an infinite set. Simple definitions only these two. We will not spend much time on this. Next, what is a cardinal number of a set? Cardinal number of a set is defined as number of elements in a finite set. See, we will count number of elements only when it is a finite only, and a number of elements of that set is called cardinal number of the set, and it is denoted by n of A if A is the set. See here, cardinal number, the number of elements in a finite set A is called cardinal number of set A and is denoted by n of A. Suppose if I take capital A is equal to set of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see, yes, it is a finite set. And how many elements are there here? 4 elements are there. Therefore, cardinal number of this set means denoted by n of capital A. N of capital A means number of elements in this set, 4 are there. Suppose one more example, if I take B is equal to set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, yes, it is a finite set. And how many elements are there in this set? 6 elements are there. Cardinal number means if I write n of B equal to 6, we will write. Hope you understood this one. We will move to the next concept. Next definition, we will see what are equivalent sets and what are equal sets. Important definitions. What are equivalent sets and what are equal sets? two sets A and B are said to be equivalent if their cardinal numbers are same. That is, equivalent sets we are telling means their cardinal number should be same, then they are said to be equivalent. Now you see that two finite sets A and B are said to be equivalent if they have the same cardinal number. If I take two sets capital A and B, they are equivalent means cardinal numbers you know n of A and n of B, their cardinal numbers must be same. Then we can say these two sets A and B are equivalent. And notation for this, whenever n of A and n of B are equal, we will write two sets are equivalent means it is the notation. I will write it as A is equivalent to B. If I take example capital A equal to set of 1, 2, 3 and capital B equal to set of x, y, z. Now observe how many elements are there in set A? 3 elements are there. And how many elements are there in B? 3 elements are there. Therefore, n of A cardinal number of A is 3 and n of B cardinal number of set B is 3. Therefore, we can say A and B are equivalent sets. Next, coming to equal sets. When two sets are said to be equal, observe this carefully. Two sets A and B are said to be equal if every element of A is an element of B and every element of B is an element of A, then we can say that those two are equal sets. Means elements of both sets must be same. Then only we can say that both of them are equal. Observe this. Two sets A and B are said to be equal if each element of A is an element of B and each element of B is an element of A, and whenever two sets if you take A comma B, if they are equal means we will write A is equal to B. This is the notation, direct notation, equality only, A equal to B. What is the meaning here? Every element of A is an element of B and every element of B is an element of A, then only we can say that both the sets are equal. For example, if I take capital A is equal to set of small a comma B comma C and capital B equal to set of C comma A comma B if I take. Now observe, their cardinal numbers are same and every element of A, you see A is here, it is an element of B also. B is here, it is an element of B also. C is here, it is an element of C also. Therefore, we can say every element of A is an element of B, and since cardinal numbers are same, all elements of B must be elements of A. We can say these two sets are equal. Observe that order of elements in the set is immaterial. Here A comma B comma C can also be written as C comma A comma B. Therefore, here I can write A is equal to B. Now observe one thing. Suppose if I take equal sets. Equal sets means first cardinal number should be same. Whenever cardinal number of any two sets are equal means we call them as equivalent sets. Therefore, equal sets are equivalent sets, whereas equivalent sets need not be equal sets. That is, converse is not true. Equal sets are equivalent, but equivalent sets need not be equal sets. You see here, A and B are there, here 1, 2, 3, x, y, z are there, and set B is x, y, z. Cardinal numbers are same, therefore, they are equivalent. But since elements of this are not exactly the elements of this one, they are not equal sets. Whereas here you see, these two are equal sets and since their cardinal numbers are same, they are equivalent sets also. So here point, equivalent sets means their cardinal numbers are same, only you see number of elements in both the sets. Whereas equal sets means their cardinal number must be same and every element of A must be an element of B. Then we can say they are equal sets. Of course, equal sets are equivalent sets, but equivalent sets need not be equal sets. Make a note of this. We will see some different types of sets. What is a null set? These are very simple definitions. Null set means a set with no elements. This is also known as empty set or void set. And this set is denoted by symbol phi, we call it as. It is equal to open curly braces without any element. A set having no elements is called a null set or empty set or void set. Notation for this is phi, just with open curly braces without any object is called null set. And the next, singleton set. In that name only definition is there. Singleton set means a set having only one element is called singleton set. Suppose if I take capital A is equal to set 1. Yes, how many elements are there? Only one element is there. This is called singleton set. Yes, now other definitions which are a bit important for us. What is a subset? What is a superset? And what is a proper subset and proper superset we will see. See, suppose I have taken a set A and set B. When set A is said to be a subset of B, set A is said to be a subset of B if all the elements of A are also elements of B, then we can say A is a subset of B. Understand this please. Two sets are there, A and B. A set A is said to be a subset of B if all the elements of A are also the elements of B, then the set A is called a subset of B. Now observe. A set A is said to be a subset of B if each element of A is also an element of, for example, if I take A is equal to 1, 2, 3 and if I take B is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I take, observe this. Elements of A are 1, 2, 3. Yes, 1 is an element of B, 2 is an element of B, 3 is also an element of B. Therefore, we can say it is a subset of B. And whenever A is a subset of B, we will write as symbolically. Notation for this is A is a subset of B. This is a symbol for subset. A is subset of B. Yes, if A is a subset of B, we will write it as symbolically A is subset of B, we will read it as. That is, A is subset of B implies whenever if you take one element of A, then that element must be an element of B, then we can say A is a subset of B. Whenever A is a subset of B means we can say B is a superset of A, and we can write symbolically this as B, we will read this symbol as superset of A. Observe this. The statement A subset of B can also be expressed equivalently by writing B superset of A and read as B superset of A. B superset of A if and only if B contains all the elements of A. This definition only, equivalency I have written in other way. Hope you understood what is subset. two sets if you take A and B, a set A is said to be a subset of B if all the elements of A are also elements of B, and a symbol for this subset is A is subset of B. All the elements of A are the elements of B. Example, if I take A this one, B, all the elements are there, and in addition to these some elements may be there or may not be there. Our requirement is you observe whether each element of A is an element of B or not. And whenever A is a subset of B, equivalently I can write B is a superset of A, and B is called superset of A. That implies all, if B contains all elements of A, then I can say B is a superset of A. Hope you understood this one. Now, we will complete this one also. What is a proper subset of A? Set. What is a proper subset of a subset? Set you say. Suppose I have taken A and B are any two sets. A set A is said to be a subset of B if all the elements of A are the elements of B. Proper subset means A is subset of B and A not equal to B. What is the meaning here? There must be at least one element extra should be there in B which is not an element of A, then we can say that A is a proper subset of B. They are not equal sets. It is only a subset. Now you see, a set A is said to be a proper subset of set B if A is subset of B and A not equal to B. Notation for this is, you see, observe that strictly I will write only this symbol, that underline is not there. This is the symbol for proper subset. Now observe this. Suppose if I take capital A equal to 1, 2 and capital B is equal to, if I take 1, 2, 3. Now see this, two elements are there in A 1, 2. Yes, 1, 2 are there in B. Yes, it is a subset and A will never be equal to B. Therefore, I can say A is a proper subset of B. Whereas, one more example if I take, capital A is equal to 1, 2 and capital B is also 1, 2 if I take, you observe this. All the elements of A are the elements of B. And because these elements only two are there, here also only two are there, they are equal sets. That is, this is not a proper subset of this set. Therefore, proper subset means elements of A should be elements of B and A not equal to B. Implies at least one element in B should be, more than that of A, which is not an element of A, then we can say it is a proper subset of that set A. Hope you understood what is a subset, what is a superset and what is a proper subset of a set. We will see next definition, bit important this one also, power set. What is a power set of a set? If you take any set A, list out all the subsets of that set A. Now set of all subsets of that set A is called power set of A, that is all. So, what is a power set of any set? Power set of any set is set of all subsets of that set is called power set. Let us see one example, and of course, it is denoted by P of A if A is a set. See here, let me take A is equal to 1, 2. Now, write all the subsets of this set. What are the subsets of this? Set 1 is a subset of this, set 2 is a subset of this, set 1 comma 2 is also a subset of this, and remember one point, empty set is a subset of any set, therefore 5 is also a subset of A. Now all these are the subsets of this set A, that's all. You cannot find any more subsets other than this. Now set of all these subsets, because A is a set, set of all these subsets is denoted by P of A is equal to set of all these subsets, set 1 comma set 2 comma set 1 comma 2 comma set 5. Therefore, P of A means set of all subsets of this set A is called power set of A, and these are the elements. And here you observe, please remember everything. Empty set is a subset of every set, and that set as it is also a subset of that set itself. And other sets are possible, you know what is a subset and how to write them. And one more let me take. Suppose if I take capital B is equal to set of A comma B comma C. Now I wanted to write power set of this set B. What is a power set of set? Set of all subsets of that set is nothing but power set. First let us list out. Let us write all the subsets of this. Subsets containing one element is A, B, C. Now let us write subsets containing two elements. Containing two elements means A comma B, A comma C, B comma C. Hope you are able to understand this. Next subset containing all the elements means one set A, B, C. And you know our other set is empty set, which is a subset of all the, any set. Now set of all these subsets, power set of this set B means P of B is equal to set of set A, set B, set C, set AB, set AC, set BC, set ABC, and curly braces I can write, or phi I can write to represent empty set. Therefore, these are all the subsets of that set. Observe this. Here one point you remember, it is a finite set, and how many elements are there in this set? That is cardinal number 2. And how many subsets we got here? It is 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. Therefore, here P of A contains, that is number of elements of P of A equal to 4. Here B, if you take, how many elements are there? 3 are there. And power set, how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are there. And n of B equal to cardinal number 3, n of P of B is equal to 8 are there. Of course, proof for this, it is not the time to explain that proof. Here you remember only, here 2 elements are there means 2 square are the number of subsets of that one, and 3 elements are there means 2 cube are the number of elements in the power set of A. Therefore, general formula for this, if A is a set containing n elements, then number of elements of that power set is equal to 2 power n. Please make a note of this one. If number of elements are cardinal number of any set A is n, then its power set contains 2 power n elements, that is 2 power n subsets are possible for set A containing n elements. Please make a note of this. What is universal set? See, in set theory, whenever we are discussing about certain sets, here we need a set which is a superset of all these sets, or all these sets must be subsets of one set. The set under that discussion we are considering is called universal set. See here, hope you understood. Universal set means it is an arbitrary chosen set which is a superset of all the sets which we are discussing in that particular context. Here you see, in any discussion in set theory, we need a set such that all sets under consideration in that discussion are its subsets. Such a set is called the universal set for that discussion. Or any set that is superset of all the sets under consideration is called universal set, and it is denoted by some letter U or S, etc. See here, suppose I have taken A is equal to set 1, 2, 3, 4, set B is equal to 3, 4, 6, set C is equal to 0, 1 I have taken. Now I can choose a set U where all these three must be subsets of that, or we can say the set which we are going to choose should be a superset of all these. See here, U is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I can write 7, 8, 9 if I take. Now observe this. 1, 2, 3, 4 are there? Yes, it is a subset of these. 3, 4, 6, yes, it is a subset of these. 0, 1, yes, it is a subset of this. Now, because all these three are subsets of these, we can say this U is a universal set for this discussion. Therefore, a set is said to be a universal set. In a particular discussion, if you take, that should be a superset of all these sets, or all these sets under consideration should be subsets of that arbitrary chosen set. That set is called a universal set. Yes, we have completed some definitions on sets. I mean, what is a set we have seen, what are the elements of that set we have seen, and we know how to check whether an element belongs to that set or not, and cardinal number we have seen, what is a subset we know, and we know how to check whether it is a subset or not, superset or not, and power set. Many properties we have discussed. Based on these concepts, let us have one question here. I have written some problems. Examine whether following statements are true or false. We will take our own time and we will discuss one by one carefully. See here, first, before starting that, if I take set A is equal to small a comma b comma c. Now, what are the elements of this set A comma B comma C? Therefore, A is an element. I can write A belong to capital A. It is correct because A is an element of that set. Now, if I take set A, here it is a set containing one element. Yes, I can say it is a subset. Can I write it is an element of this set A? Observe this. It is not an element of A. If I write set of A belong to A means it is wrong. Observe this carefully. But of course, how we can write set A is a subset of A. If I write it is correct. A belong to A means yes, we can say A is an element of A. It is correct. And if I write A, it is an element. If I write it is subset of A, it is wrong. So, based on only these 4 points, we are going to discuss complete these things. Once again, I have taken A equal to set A comma B comma C. A, B, C are the elements of this set A. If I take A, I can say it is an element of that set. A belong to A, I can write. Can I write A is subset of A? No. A is an element, it is not set, which is not subset of that. Therefore, A subset of A is wrong. And now, it is subset of A. Is it an element of this? Is there set of A here? No. Therefore, set of A belong to A is wrong. When it is correct, when set A is there in this set, then I can say it is an element of capital A, but here it is not there in this set, we can say it is, this statement is wrong. Whereas now it is set A, yes, it is a subset of this. Now I can write set say A is subset of A is correct. Now, suppose if I take a D, is it an element of this set A? No. I can write D does not belong to capital A, it is correct. So, belong to represent whether an element belong to, is an element of that set A or not. Subset means to check whether all elements of that set are the elements of that set or not. So, observe the difference between belong to and subset. If you have clear idea about that, then all these questions you can handle it very easily. And one more point you observe, phi means it is only open curly braces without any element. Can I write phi is equal to set 0? No, absolutely wrong. Phi is equal to set 0 means it is a set containing one element 0. Whereas phi denotes set containing no element. Only curly braces without any element means phi. You cannot write phi equal to set 0. You cannot write set of phi is an empty set. It is also wrong. Therefore, phi means just open braces with no elements in that braces. Then that is known as empty set or void set or null set notation for this one. If you have clear idea about these points, without my help you can solve all these problems, 9 problems very easy. First you try this one, after that you can see the video. I will explain one by one anyhow. Right. Now first one, phi belong to phi. Is it correct or wrong? Here it is a set. What is set phi? Phi equal to open curly braces. Now phi belong to phi when it is true? When phi is inside the set. But inside no element should be there. Phi belong to phi means it is absolutely wrong. Therefore, we can say this statement is false. Hope it is clear for everyone. Because phi contains no elements, but whereas here they are asking phi belong to phi. Phi is not an element of this set phi. Therefore, phi belong to phi is wrong. Therefore, it is a false statement. Second, 0 belong to phi. Same reason as we discussed for that. Because phi is an empty set with no elements, whereas 0 belong to phi means if 0 is there in that set, we can write 0 belong to phi is true. 0 belong to phi is completely wrong statement because 0 is not an element of phi. Therefore, it is wrong. We can say this statement is also false. Third one, phi is equal to set 0. Phi an empty set as I have explained before that. Phi equal to 0 means it is wrong. It is false statement. Or next, phi is equal to set of phi. Array set phi means it is a set with one element. That element is phi, whereas a phi means set with no elements. Again it is a false statement. Hope you understood all these 4 bits. Right. Now coming to 5th one. Here 2 sets are there, between them equal is there. So we need to observe definition for equal sets. When 2 sets are said to be equal, only when every element of A is element of B and every element of B is an element of A. That is, their cardinal number should be same and elements should be exactly same in both the sets. Then only we can say both the sets are equal. When 2 sets are said to be equivalent, equivalent means only if their cardinal number is same, then we can say they are equivalent. We least bother about the elements, whether they are equal or not, but only cardinal number is important in equivalent sets, whereas in equal sets, cardinal number and exactly elements should be same in both the sets. Now see this equality. Here set of, what are the elements in this? Set 1 is there, element 2 is there, element 3 is there. Of course, here it is set 1, it is an element of this set. Now observe in set, that is in this set. Here set 1 is there. Is it there set 1 in this set? No. That only because set 1 is an element here and set 1 is not an element here, I can say this statement is wrong. 2 sets are equal means each and every element of this should be an element of this. No. Here 2 is there. Here 2 is not there. Set 2 is there. Set 2 is not same as 2. Therefore, we can say these 2 sets are not equal. Therefore, it is false statement. And now, observe 6th bit. Set A belongs to. If it is an element of this set, then we can claim this is an element of this one. Observe this. What are the elements of this set? A is an element. Set A is an element. Set of set A is also an element. Yes, set A is there. Set A is an element of this. Therefore, set A belong to this set is correct. We can say it is an element of this set. Hence, this is a true statement. I can write this statement is true. Hope you observed this one. Next, 7th one. Try this. Set A, subset of this set. Here, what are the elements of this? A is there, set A is there, set of set A is also there. Out of all these elements, if I take set A, is it a subset of this or not? Because here A is there, if I take set A for this particular element, I can say it is a subset. Of course, that is an element also here, but because A is an element, if I take set for this one, it will become a subset. Therefore, set of A is subset of this is correct. It is true. Observe this. Here set A is a subset as well as set A is an element also. Therefore, set A is subset of this set is absolutely correct statement. Hope you understood. These two are same sets only. This side set A only we have taken. Here belongs to and here subset of. Both are correct only. This belongs to because this is an element here. This is subset because A is an element. set A is a subset of this, therefore set A is subset of this we have taken. And next, coming to 8th bit, 2 belong to 1 to 4, it is a simple one. What are the elements of this one? 1 to 4 only. Yes, 2 is an element, I can say 2 is an element of this, 2 belong to 1 to 4, correct. It is also a true statement. And next, 1 to 4 are the elements of this set. 2 subset I have written. No. Subset means if it is a set, we can say, we can check whether it is subset or not. It is an element, it is not subset. We can say this statement is wrong, therefore it is a false statement. Simple discussion only, but clarity of the concepts are required. If you are able to understand, I mean all these points, when an element, we can claim an element belong to or does not belong to, and if you take any set, we can check whether it is a subset or not. If we have clarity about all those and regarding this empty set, then this discussion is very simple only. Here a similar problem I am giving here for you. Which of the following statements are correct? 10 bits are there. Take one by one problem and try by your own. You see that you will be able to answer all the questions correctly. Then we can say, yes, you understood all the points which we have discussed today. And of course, answers also I am giving. First you try this, next slide answers will be there. Hope you can try it. You can take some more problems and you can practice at home. Okay? And in the next class, we will be continuing with the sets only, and some more points are there in the sets to discuss, because most of the topics in our intermediate syllabus, sets and relations are there, and next permutations and combinations will be there, probability will be there. To handle permutations and combinations and probability, set theory knowledge is very essential. Without this knowledge of sets, you cannot do effectively the problems of permutations and combinations probability. And not only there, in some other topics also, we will be using the notations of sets and properties of that sets also. Please ensure that you will be learning each and every concepts whatever we are discussing in the class. Definitely these concepts will be useful for you at any time throughout these academic years. Okay? And we will be looking at other concepts of these sets in the coming class. Till then, take care and all the best.